like to say about his about the roughing the passer calls against him last week?
Does my look tell you enough?
I just wanted to give you the opportunity in case you...
No, my wife told me do not say anything.
Huh. That's why our defense is not choking games away. What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Rise Up Rundown. And if you're new here, welcome. So I'm not exactly sure if the word recover is the right word to use for a victory, but I'll just go ahead and say it. We are all still trying to recover from an amazing victory versus the San Francisco 49ers. And in my humble opinion, this was a statement win from the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm already seeing on Twitter and a little, I think it was like one YouTube comment I got that's like, oh, you know, this was not a statement win. Like the 49ers had so many injuries. Excuses. It was a legitimate win for the Atlanta Falcons. And it was an entertaining one, and there's so many takeaways to make from this game, and let's just go over, the pretty obvious ones, and then we'll go over some interesting takes that I did not mention in the reaction video. So the first one is that our defense did finally hold strong, as you saw from the intro. It looks like Dean Pease keeping his mouth shut is actually a good thing, and so we don't have to worry about him talking trash to the media and then we blow a lead because of it or something. I'm not saying him talking trash to the media is why we were blowing games, but you get the idea. Like, I'm just happy that he's not speaking his mind and he's just keeping it quiet. And anyway, this defense is actually, I don't remember, like, week one was a choke, sure. But then that was it, really. Like, I feel like every other game in the season, we really didn't choke. We've been making some awesome plays. Grady Jarrett's probably having his best year yet. AJ Terrell is bouncing back. Nice scoop and score. Nearly not a scoop and score, but still a scoop and score by AJ Terrell. And then Jalen Hawkins recovered the scoop and score and got an interception. And Isaiah Oliver coming back, getting his interception. And stopping Tevin Coleman on 3rd and 1, which was critical, and then getting a 4th and 1 stop versus the 49ers, holding them to only 14 points. Gosh darn, man, what an amazing performance by the Atlanta Falcons. Taquan Graham is actually proving to be a good draft pick, and that was really the first takeaway, is that our defense actually stood really strong in this game, and I think it was overall the reason we won this game. So congratulations to the Atlanta Falcons defense. And if we can just keep that up, then I have no worries about Dean Pease and most of these defensive players. Obviously, you still have to get a little bit of a better pass rush. But, I mean, we have some players stepping up, like Arnold Ebiketie and whatnot. And then, you could get some more linebackers. Even though I like Troy Anderson and Michael Walker, you can maybe use, like, Casey Hayward has been good. But you get the idea. Like, you maybe could add some newer players, even though you like most of the players. But you like most of the players, we still could upgrade a little bit, but the defense has held strong. So the second takeaway is that I'm not even going to go over this for too long. Kyle Pitts got a touchdown. Just hello, hooray, yay. Like, wow, that's awesome. On American soil, too. And that was just amazing to see. I'm happy that he was humble. And he just deserves, life and happiness, and, I think he just literally deserves, everything in this world because he's Kyle Pitts. So, honestly, let's move on. And then the third takeaway is that Marcus Mariota, I felt like he actually finally had a good game. Finally. Obviously, he used his legs, and there was a key 3rd and 13 run that saved us. But, gosh, he didn't have an incompletion until the 4th quarter. And I think that one incompletion was his only incompletion throughout the entire game. He was making great reads, great throws. He had an amazing game. If it wasn't our defense that was keeping us alive, I would say it was Marcus Mariota. Great job by Mariota. Now, am I going to say that he just all of a sudden solidified his starting spot for the years to come? Not really. I mean, congratulations. You did amazing versus the number 1 defense in the league. What more could you ask for? But what about the other games? So, we kind of need to see a little more from Marcus Mariota. But I will say that was one hell of a start to turn things around against the number one defense. So, I mean, if he can perform like this against the number one defense, then who's to say that he can't just bounce back throughout the rest of the season? So awesome job by Marcus Mariota. And I know everyone's impatient and wants to see Desmond Ridder, but that will definitely not come soon. Although considering how Mariota played last week, I don't think anyone's complaining. And then the last game takeaway, and then there's some other takeaways I'll say is has anyone apologized about Arthur Smith yet? I'm still waiting. I told you Arthur Smith was a good coach. Everyone made fun of his fantasy football comment in the press conference, and I just would love to remind you that did not age well. Arthur Smith knows how to coach a team. He's just getting the running game going. He's turned around Marcus Mariota's career a little bit. And then, this defense and getting Dean Pease. I don't know if it was Arthur Smith's idea to get Dean Pease from the booth to the field, but you get the idea. Arthur Smith still has a little bit to do with that defense. So he's just, I don't know, we're 3-3 and we're back, tied for the division, I guess you could say. Not really. The Bucks have the tiebreaker, but we're tied for the division. We should have won for the Bucks. Whatever. I'm not even going to go over it, but Arthur Smith can coach, and I'm still waiting on an apology, so I just wanted to point that out. But speaking of, tied for the first place in division, that's my next takeaway. Is the Falcons are back on track. We are 3-3, and we hold a very good spot in the NFC South, and we were the only NFC South team to win last week, so did this Falcons team all of a sudden prove they're this playoff team? I'll get to that in a second. But I'm just simply saying that we're in a good spot in the NFC South, and we have got to just control our destiny here. Do I expect that we're going to beat the Bucks out in the division? No, but as long as you stay at least second in the division, things could get interesting. But my last takeaway is, are the Falcons proving they're a playoff team? I don't know if I'm there yet, but they are off to one hell of a start. They have not been blown out at all in any game. Now, yes, there were moments where it seemed like it, the second half versus the Saints or the first half versus the Rams. But, still, it was a close game for both of those games. And then the other games, is anyone seriously sitting here saying the Falcons were blown out? I guess the first half versus the Bucks, but then we started to come back. There was no legitimate blowout loss for the Falcons. And then, the Falcons never had a blowout victory. But, the Falcons have been very competitive, and they've been getting some big statement wins, it feels like. I know the 49ers had their injuries, but that was the number one ranked defense. We got the dub there. The Browns are still a good team with some talent on that offense. Got a dub there. And then the Seahawks out of nowhere are kind of proving they actually might be a sleeper playoff team. Got the dub there in Seattle. So we're getting some key victories here, and we should have one to the Bucks. But we have a big game coming up versus the Bengals. I think you got to beat at least the Bengals and the Chargers, right? To prove that you're a playoff team. You just got to win, can we at least get to 4 or 5 wins to prove that we at least should be in the playoff consideration? I don't think that's all that controversial. But yeah, it's really not that impossible for the Falcons. They've been in every single game, but I'm just proud of this team. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I will see you guys with a video this Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Love and appreciate y'all for the support. And as always, rise up.